Hello again. I am Dr. Maria Bondarenko, responsible for the design and implementation of the course Multiple Facets of Culture in Second Language Education. Welcome aboard. In this video, I invite you to discuss the core idea behind the course, the learning objectives of the course, its structure and assessment formula. Everybody agrees that culture is inextricably connected to second language learning and teaching. However, when speaking about culture in the second language classroom, it is not always clear what exactly it refers to. It is like an elephant in a room. It takes so much space that it becomes difficult to identify it. Should we explicitly teach culture by specific learning modules on different culture-related topics like food and festivals? Should we teach history, geography, literature, architecture, movies, visual art? Should we focus on great personalities and achievements of a nation, or instead on simple people, pop culture, or subcultures, including internet culture? Can we be happy with general topics provided by textbooks, or should we bring the classroom up-to-date news that make headlines? Maybe we should not teach culture by topics at all and instead focus on how to communicate in different micro-situations we experience every day, for example, in a bank, coffee shop, or during a job interview. There is another kind of inquiry. Should we speak about politics or address awkward facts which present the target culture in an unfavorable light in learners' eyes? Is it our job to explain why the people speaking the language we teach have different, sometimes unpleasant for learners, beliefs? What about classroom culture? Should we consider our learners' beliefs, their cultural differences and identities? And what about our own teachers' identities and beliefs? The big irony here is that nobody can give you a simple answer, a kind of a recipe to these questions. Why? Because the concept of culture and its relationship to language teaching and learning constantly evolve in response to changes in the social fabric and social demand. The way the culture was presented in second language classroom in the 1970s was different compared to the 90s, and there is a good chance that in the future, within your teaching career, we will see the role of culture in the second language classroom differently than we do it today. To adapt our teaching to different teaching contexts, modern second language teachers must develop specific skills to be sensitive to social demands. We must be able to identify different facets, different aspects of culture and be aware of current trends in understanding of culture in the second language classroom. From where and in which direction we have been moving. This understanding is the core idea of our course, which I can voice for you without delay. In connection to culture, today we can observe a critical, a paradigm shift in second language education, a transition from the trend of teaching culture in second language classrooms toward the trend of culturally responsive and responsible second language teaching. Over the last 100 years, our representation of culture has been shifting from an object-oriented model focused on facts such as history, literature, food, and habits toward a subject-oriented model. Within this emergent subject-oriented approach, culture is viewed as collective values embedded in the language we teach and learn, but also as individual values and identities of the people who speak this language, including people in second language classroom, learners and teachers. These individual cultural identities are always in transition through interaction with values of others. All facets of culture, both object-oriented and subject-oriented, are still relevant for the second language classroom and influence second language pedagogy today. That is why we are speaking about multiple facets of culture. Now, when we agree on the core idea of the course, we can set the learning objectives. To speak about multiple facets of culture and their dynamic, we need some conceptual, theoretical tool. From a theoretical perspective, our course has two objectives. By the end of your course, you will be able first to identify different facets of culture, different points of view on culture, and relate them to different approaches in the field of second language education. Also, you will be able to identify principles of culturally responsible second language teaching. As practitioners, we are naturally interested in how to apply theory to practice. That is why the second set of learning objectives of our course is related to practice. By the end of the course, you will be able first to identify second language classroom activities, including assessment and learners' competencies related to different facets of culture. You will be able to modify these activities in order to deepen instruction by switching from the cultural facets traditionally present in second language classroom to recent approaches. Second, you will be able to identify tension and uncomfortable situations in and outside the second language classroom related to multicultural identity and culturally responsive education. And finally, the course can help you to reinforce the ability to use English in discussions and in reading scientific literature on professional topics related to culture in second language classrooms. Even though the course is delivered in English, it is not an English language course. Your proficiency in English will not be a subject of evaluation and will not influence your final grade. The structure of the course reflects its objectives. The course is divided into two parts. The first part focuses on theory. The unit opening the theoretical part, Unit 1, provides an overview of all concepts you will learn within the course. We can call it a conceptual map of the course. The following units within the theoretical part will help you explore each of these concepts more deeply. The second part of the course focuses on practice. Within this part, you will explore case studies, examples, and testimonies, suggest your own solutions, and produce your own reflection on how to apply theoretical concepts to teaching a second language of your choice. Each theoretical unit of Part 1 is paired with one practical unit of Part 2. Therefore, you have a choice between two learning paths. You can finish all theoretical units first and then review the theory by studying practical examples in Part 2, but also you can progress by paired units mode. That means after finishing one theoretical unit, you continue with a related practical unit. This second path is recommended for the first cohort of students taking the course in the 2022 winter semester. All theoretical units are organized similarly. Each unit opens with a prompt. It is a small activity that aims at activating your previous knowledge or reflection. After that, you will have an overview of the concept of the unit in the form of mini video lectures. Then, you will deepen your understanding of new concepts by reading suggested literature, fragments of articles or books with the help of guiding questions. At the end of each unit, you can test your knowledge with a quiz that earns you points. All practical units have a similar structure too. After a prompt introducing a practice-related issue, you will explore one or more case studies presented in a video, article, or role-playing situation. At the end of the unit, you will produce a short reflection or suggest a solution related to the issue. Each practical assignment earns you points too. The evaluation formula adopted for our course is based on cumulative principles. By participating in each activity, you earn points. To evaluate the theoretical part, focusing on concepts, we use online quizzes, the best techno-pedagogical solution for assessing declarative knowledge, that is, understanding concepts and their relation between them. In the second part, focusing on practice, the evaluation is trickier. You remember, there is no one correct solution in the field of education, including second language education. So what we can and will evaluate is your skills of critical thinking and the quality of your reflection. You will have to demonstrate your ability to express an opinion and justify it based on your experience and knowledge of the concept you have studied in our course or in another course from your curriculum. The advantage of cumulative assessment formula is that there is no big stressful exam at the end of the course. You earn your points gradually by progressing from one unit to another. Moreover, all quizzes in the theoretical part are both formative and summative. They are summative because you receive a grade, but you are allowed an unlimited number of attempts. That's why they are formative too. So everybody has a chance to perfectly master the material of a unit and get 100% of the points attributed to a quiz. But the challenge of the cumulative assessment formula is that you have to study on a regular basis and respect suggested deadlines to avoid being caught with a large number of unaccomplished tasks by the end of the course. To accomplish some practical tasks, you will have to work on a second language textbook of your choice. The language and proficiency level doesn't matter. Choose one or two textbooks of a language you are familiar with. It may be the language you have learned or you are currently learning, or the language you have taught, have been teaching or expect to teach in the future. My personal choice is Studio 21, das Deutschbuch, level B1.1. This is a language I am currently learning.